Happy Gemini season. This is going to be really fun. I'm so excited about it. It's just like, it's a good time. It's a good time. Even as I record this, like when I woke up this morning, I had every intention to record a different video, but like I'm invoking the Gemini spirit and I'm just ready for it. And even like, yeah, as I record this, yeah, the sun is in Taurus and the moon is in Virgo. This is caffeine and just my absolute spirit team being like, here you go, girl. Here you go. This is Gemini season for you. I want to paint a picture. I want to paint a little bit of like a parable because I'm doing things different for Gemini season for the video, and I'm not going to put up the day of. I'm not going to do that. We went over the dates for the May introductory video. I feel like I kind of want to do that and have like the May and then the June introductory videos be all about the dates, and then I'm really going to sink into the energy of Gemini season and talk about the houses and talk. I have some key dates, but this is Gemini. There's kind of this interesting parable that I wanted to give. Like, I want you to just look at me, and someone who's never been at my table before could look and just be like, yikes, this is 37? Really? 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 Do you even know anything about this or that or the third? And I'm just gonna be like, yeah, this is my practice. Come at me mentally. This is what I study for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, that's the way. That's Gemini for you. I feel as though sometimes Gemini, being mutable air energy, they can be, they run the third house, communication, early learning, and short trips. And we know, this is the general astrological wheel. So as Aries is the infant baby ram, then Taurus is like the little infant that just like wants to like nap and eat snacks all day long. And then Gemini is like no, I just stuck my finger in that electrical socket. Definitely don't do that, but I want to tell you about what happened. And this side of my hair will never go back to normal again. Yeah, it was great. No, the nurse in the ER was so cool. Her name is Beatrice. Yeah, it was a good time. Let me tell you all about it. They have two functioning brains. And so if a Gemini, and I've mentioned this so many times before, and I don't want to repeat myself. For some reason in this video, I feel like some of my content has been redundant, and I don't want to do that, but I just have to offer validation for every single Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. If anyone has ever told you that you interrupt too much or has pegged you as being, like a little flighty or blah, 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 they just did not take the time to get to know you and get to know the Gemini and get to know the fact that you have two functioning brains. It's two screens constantly. At all times. They were born that way. And so if you've been to my table before, you know that I have three screens that I baseline function at, where I'm talking to you, and then my guides and spirit team show me a little view over here, and then I have another life or past life or little universe. I have three universes all at the same time, and that's why I'm like all over the place. The Gemini was born with two screens. Yeah, whether they have the woo-woo language or not, they are that quick thinking, that interesting, that they've got downloads upon downloads upon downloads coming in at all times. So I don't really know how we're going to do this. The title of the video is going to be, that's how I'll start. Because the title of this video and then the title of the Cancer season video came through. And this one, senior year. A lot of us, the majority of us, let me rephrase, everyone has access to and can absolutely choose the path, whatever they want. We live in a planet, the Earth School, and we have, access to infinite information. We also get free will. We get to choose good or bad, black or white, regular, decaf, like alcohol, non-alcohol, backshore drive, or staying at home. We have every single, I did a video a while ago about addiction where like everything on this planet is ambrosia or an addiction. I forget what I even called it. Yeah, everything on this planet was once ambrosia. So everything is a spectrum. We have, water. We drink enough water for our human body. Amazing. And then the other side of the spectrum could be we drink gallons and gallons and gallons of water just to vomit, or we don't drink water at all. Don't drink water at all. Yeah, I find it to be interesting. I work in service, and sometimes customers don't drink water. They just say, I don't drink water. And I'm observant. I'm trying not to be judgmental. And I'm observant of the fact that they must have a headache a lot. Like a lot. And maybe they don't know that you don't have to have a headache all the time, but a lot of the time some people choose to have those experiences. I know for myself, when I was a cigarette smoker, and I haven't had a cigarette in over 10 years, it'll be 11 in September. And I was very aware, this is interesting because there's so many different things I could say to this. I was aware that I was doing something that was killing me. But if you came up to me and told me how unhealthy my addiction was, I would come at you. I would literally come at you. And so that was the sleeper cell that was invoked in my brain. That's a funny little parable. So I'm going to pause. Please go pause the video. I'm going to use my frankincense for the pause. I'm going to put some frankincense on because it's been so healing and so lovely and wonderful. So please go pause the video, go grab your journal, coffee, tea, some water as well. And we're going to talk about Gemini season and what we might be feeling and what to expect. Oh my God, it's just so good. It's just so good. It's just so good. How are you doing? How are you doing? That's a lot. I appreciate you sharing, and you're always safe here. You really are. It's intense, and yeah, it's intense. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. And so let's get started. Definitely take a sip of water. I like to ground before every video, and my intention is to offer, as always, but this is my intention today, is to offer the most accessible information to you. I would love for you to gain some tools to help yourself to kind of navigate this coming energy and to know what to expect. So if something does pop up in your human life where you're just like, oh my God, I remember Sarah talking about this. This is why I'm feeling what I'm feeling. And this is why the soul, the human being in front of me is acting the way that they're acting. I can choose to respond and not react to this. This is a really excitable about it, like information. This is really interesting energy. And like I said, Gemini season, I want you to think of it like senior year, because Cancer season and the solstice, that title is going to be coming home. And this is energy that's available for everybody. It's very interesting energy. It's very galactic energy. It's very spassy energy. There's so many interesting upgrades that have been happening. The solar flares, a lot of this, how do I say, people that have been following the moon and really going with the ups and the downs and working with those cycles are noticing that things are either being released very quickly and or coming in very quickly. There's a little bit of a pause after eclipse season where we kind of got shake, rattled, and rolled, and then we pause, and then we got all these solar flares. I'm going to do a whole video. I think it's going to be a short one on the 18th. I'm recording this on the 16th. The 18th is a really interesting day because there's 3 conjunctions. The Sun conjunct Jupiter, Uranus conjunct Venus, and Mars conjunct the North Node. So I'm going to do a video just astrologically about that, just like a short little one. And the day that Gemini season starts is the 20th. So it's going to be a lot of really, things are going to happen very quickly. And so I had said this a while ago. It was during the Aries season and equinox video, I believe, which I had labeled off-roading, and I'll put the link to that below because that's a God's Caudally video, and so that's still applicable. It's a lens. I always speak in lenses. I wear these big old glasses. That's still a lens that we can view this energy through, since that's, we're still in the Aries equinox energy, which is when the sun starts over here, and then when Cancer season, that's going to be the solstice energy over here. So let's talk about Gemini. Sun, the sky, going into Gemini. So this is mutable air energy that's run by Mercury, and we're going to talk about Mercury next. But so, what were the titles that I had written down? Like, yeah, buddy. And this is honestly, this house, we'll speak in lenses first. This house, communication, how we communicate. This house is run by Mercury, as is the 6th house, but that's mutable earth energy. So we'll talk more about Virgo in a little while. Maybe, I have no idea. Early learning. What does that mean, Sarah? When we learn the boundaries of our communication, it's about, when you were a kiddo, were you the oldest, the middle, the youngest? Were you an only child? Were your parents, stable? Were they, abusive in some capacity? How did you learn how you were allowed to communicate energetically, mentally, and emotionally? I couldn't imagine being a Gemini sun. I really couldn't, honest to goodness. That's so much information coming in so quickly. Pardon me, I had hair in my face. And so it's, to me, says they had to process so quickly, whether they had childhood traumas or not, whether they were in, any sort of big T, little t traumas, whatever that may be. They process things so efficiently, so quickly. And Gemini, sun, moon, rising, I asked a while ago, and Noon, happy birthday. My dear Nuno, my Gemini sun. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt this entire video, but this is Gemini season, and this is how we're going to do it. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you in every possible way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 1111, okay. I wanted you to have a lucky number, my dear. So when we learned how we're allowed to communicate, I'm really all over the place, but that's the Gemini way. When we learned how we were allowed to communicate, what we were allowed to say, it's also in an interesting way. A lot of the times the Gemini, nobody really understands how deep their emotions go. Like I had said, there's still a kiddo of the zodiac, whereas the Pisces is the baby ancient, so the oldest one's over here. We're still in the little kiddo phase. So when you think that a Gemini is just bum and then you make fun of them, you don't understand. It's kind of like when you make fun of an Aries. Taurus is going to get violent really quick. They're going to cut you out of their life. They're going to do a lot of things very, very quick. Aries, like I had mentioned in that short, if you come for the friend of an Aries, they'll get violent quick. But Gemini and Aries, they'll just cry. You hurt their feelings. And that's where the base foundation of their maturity level is. Wait. This is just like when we master tying our shoes, we master our understanding of the planets and things like that. I'm an Aries sun conjunct Jupiter. I cry at the drop of a dime. The drop of a dime. And I take offense by the people that I honor very quickly. I don't take offense to, the people online that are, spouting things off at me, because that's how you treat someone is how you feel about yourself. So I just express gratitude that you're watching my content and that hopefully you're picking something up from it. But my nearest and dearest, if they get, disrespectful, no ma'am, absolutely not. I'll cut you out right quick. We'll talk about it, but I'll cut you out quick. So this house, how do we receive information? How do we give information? How do we communicate? What is it about our style that's, from, and this is kind of why we understand this house and then we master it. Geminis are the master of something, and they pick things up so quickly. I, waiter with a very, very dear Gemini sun, and one day she picked up crochet, and within a week she's at a cafe and people are commissioning her to make things for them. It was just, when a Gemini wants to master something, they will do it so quickly, and they won't have so much ego around it. It's not going to be this end over here where it's no, I need to be praised. That's the Leo house over here. But with the Gemini, if you compliment them on something, really? Thank you. It's so pure. It's such a pure sign. We're going into a very, very pure, I'll bet expansive, very, very expansive sign. And so we're going to talk about expansion because the week, the 20th to the 26th, I do Monday to Sunday weeks. So that week from the 20th, when the sun goes into Gemini, that's a really big week. That's a really big week. One of the biggest weeks of the year of 2024. Yeah. So we have the sun going into Gemini right over here. On the 22nd, we're going to have a beautiful trine. Pluto, pardon me. Okay. Oh my God. Pardon me. Is at 2 degrees retrograde. Sorry. I have the table pushed all the way up. I want you to be able to see everything. So I have Pluto at 2 degrees retrograde over here, and I will have the sun at 2 degrees of Gemini over here. A trine is a lovely flowing bit of information, of energy. This is, Pluto is our deepest transformative planet. My guides want to highlight the fact that there's a lot of galactic things that are happening, and many of you are prepared for it, and not everyone is. So be open to what you see behind your eyes and your peripheral vision. Look up at the clouds, wave to your galactic friends. There is a video that I recorded about connecting to interdimensionals. I just want to highlight that. A lot of people are seeing this. Elizabeth April spoke of this. I've seen a lot of different things just in my, minimal content that I allow myself to receive right now. And we'll go into why it's minimal in a moment. I just want to highlight that this world's about to get really galactic really quick. Just really quick. Just really, really, really quick. And I know that even last year, I had been, in Dr. Stephen Greer's, I did it virtually, but he did a big disclosure event. And then I recorded a video about like something really galactic. Aliens are about to come down. There's some sort of event that's about to go on. And, my guides have wanted to remind me over and over is that I see very far into the future. Very, very, very far into the future. And that's, without ego, that's just my foresight. Sometimes I can't see what's going to happen tomorrow, but I can see the bigger picture of things and see the whole of the awakened world in a really beautiful way. But when it comes to the entirety of 2024, 2027, like that time period, even like to 2030, I can't tell the whole, like where the events will go. It's very time blocked in my brain. I'm a corporate survivor. So a lot of it is like, oh, aliens come down, everybody awakens, this happens, possibly this is maybe happening, this is happening slowly, this is happening gradually. So my calendar, for lack of a better term, inside of my brain just goes all over the place. I can see the end results, but sometimes when it's going to happen is very, very cloudy to me, solely based on the fact that it's up to you. It's kind of like we're reading the never-ending story right now, and I'm speaking directly to you saying it's you. You need to be open to it for it to happen. You need to look at your stuff inside and not over there. You need to look at your role and what you want to do in this new world. Like you. Yeah, you. Let go of your anger and your fear. Question for the group. How is everyone incorporating more peace into their daily life and into their community? And how are they forgiving those that, live a different lifestyle than them? Yeah. Not the narcissists or the verbal abusers or the exes and things like that. You don't have to do that forgiveness. That will happen in your dream space and on a soul level. But your human can definitely work on accepting those that are on the other side of, ideologies, of, whatever space it may be. Yeah, that's definitely a challenge for Gemini season that I have for everyone, including myself. I go back and watch this, so I have to sit at the table with Sarah and have her point directly at me as well. So know that I'm working on incorporating, releasing judgments of those that I myself have pegged to be like in a mental health crisis. They're in roaring pain. Or maybe that's even me judging that. Maybe they're not. Everybody gets free will, so who knows? Yeah, I'm doing the Bluefin Blowout, the 5K on Sunday. I'm really excited about that. Who else is doing that? Okie dokie, so we have that trine happening over here. We have a full moon on the 23rd that I've already put my introductory video for that in the Patreon group, so definitely go check that out. It's called Nevite, and it speaks to, I recorded it a while ago, and it speaks to, the powers that were have this language without question, without any question. And so definitely don't get distracted by the hullabaloo. There is a lot happening that, I have a whole video on it, takes a certain level of disassociation to function in 2024. Like, I am not without understanding that there is a significant amount of death, childhood abuse, like the children in and of themselves. I have to be cognizant because I'm on YouTube, so I can't say all the things that I want to say. The amount of really messed uppery that is happening right now is intense. It's brazen. It's grotesque. So I have to say that because I can't participate in it save meditating every single day and sending love and doing what I can in the astral world. So I do what I can as an angel on this planet. I do what I can, but it's up to all of us. It's up to all of us. I recorded a really long video that I'm having trouble posting because I got so triggered watching it. If you are overly concerned with what's happening somewhere else, you're gaslighting yourself into thinking you don't have to do the inner work. And it speaks a lot to the sleeper cells and stuff like that. But sometimes I get really intimidated to post a lot of these longer range videos and a lot of these things because my new guidance team is so powerful and so intense. And they're just like, do it, girl, do it. So I'll post that soon. Sorry, my tablet. Okay. So the full moon on the 23rd, there's so much happening all at the same time. It's just, I'm not going to repeat what I said in that video. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not keen to join the Patreon group, I offer a 7-day free trial. So if you're interested in just the astrology, just tarot, just channeled messages, there's so much in there. It's $10 a month investment and there's a 7-day free trial. So definitely go check that out. I put a lot of my heart and soul into that. And it's for people that are really keen to work with this energy and use this energy to the best of their ability and harness it and really harness it. There's Venus going into Gemini. There's a Venus-Jupiter conjunction. There is a sextile to Neptune over here. These are things that I talk about in that video, so I'm not going to repeat myself there. Oh, I mentioned the conjunctions already. This is the North Node in Aries. This is the South Node in Libra. Definitely go check out the playlist, the longer range transits. I have an entire video on the North Node and the South Node. I have 2 videos on the Pluto transit alone. I have an entire video on Jupiter going into Gemini. I'll talk about that in a second. We have, I don't even think what is it? Mars is going to be conjunct the North Node. That's on the 18th. Venus is going to be conjunct Uranus on the 18th. What was the other one? The Sun conjunct Jupiter on the 18th. That's over here. I'm going to talk about Jupiter in a second. Let's do Jupiter first because I already have an entire video on that. That's happening on the 25th. Jupiter is going into the sign of Gemini right over here. I have an entire video on that, and definitely be grounded before you listen and watch that. There is a lot of, this is perfect. So like I said at the beginning of this video, the Gemini can be perceived as like do 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 do. But then when you get to know them, you recognize that they've taken scat classes, that they've done all of these little things, that they're so educated and they're so bright and they're so well versed. Communication. They're such masters of their crafts. So please do not discredit the mental and the emotional maturity of a Gemini. They understand this language. They process so quickly that they're aware. They're like, nope, my inner child's coming out. I'm taking a long weekend. I'm going up to Maine and I'm going to get a cabin in the woods. I'm going to cry it out and I'm going to take care of myself. And then I'm going to come back as parenting the inner child in the ways that I wasn't allowed to be parented, but this is my responsibility, not yours. So I'm going to go take care of that and I'll be on Do Not Disturb, but I love you. Ta-ta, ta-ta. It's so beautiful. It's so inspiring. It's so lovely. I've never met a Gemini in this world that didn't have at least an understanding of the voices in their head, for lack of a better term. And go watch the, connecting to interdimensionals video if you're new to my table and I channel from source, directly from source for the collective, and I offer very accessible tools to kind of give you a baseline as you start to connect to beings that are not of this third dimensional matrix. So definitely go check that out if you're new here and that's a language that you want to have. It's interesting that like the Alzheimer's and the bluefin blowout, that's coming to be right now. And so I'm listening to my guides for a second. Really nurturing and nourishing your mental space is advantageous for they're saying galactic growth. So playing solitaire, Sudoku, doing puzzles, reading fiction books, or, if you're way too into fiction, reading nonfiction books, definitely balance the scales. We have the South Node over here in Libra, and later on in June, oh my goodness. I just was getting ready, and I just want to Libra and to Gemini placements. This year and next, I am so impressed with the amount of deep guttural healing that you've chosen and contracted to do in your astrological charts. And I am a Scorpio rising conjunct Pluto in the 12th house. If you have the astrology language, you understand what that means. But I am in awe. I'm in awe. So please, if you ask a Gemini or a Libra in any way, Sun, Moon, or Rising, how they are doing right now, they are doing the deepest inner work that I'm so impressed and proud of you and grateful for your healing the collective in many ways. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So mental and emotional maturity. There's a few notes that I just want to kind of go. I'll talk about Mercury in a second. View it from above and it changes. Experimental learning the old ways or walking into a brick wall. New ways, massive shifts, incredible magic. So what video was it? I think it was Pisces season, even March maybe. Our old ways just won't work anymore. This has been a long time coming. So my guides want me to share an experience that I had. So I was processing a past life with a soul sister of mine and got some really gross, I'm just going to say it, my guides are saying I can talk to you, some really disturbing images of some really messed up things that happened in that past life. And I'm just going to highlight the past life tales of sexual trauma video, and I have a whole playlist on past life tales of Sarah, definitely go check those out. And this was a new one that I was only given bits and blips of different things. And I'm trying to find out and heal why I am a vibrational match for certain beings. And so a lot came up so quick. And when we were processing via text message, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I'm getting it. And then I was like, ew, 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 ew. So what I did was I went to the woods and I messaged my soul sister. I was like, hey, a lot of this is coming up. I'm just going to give it to the forest fairies and give it to my spirit team and go for a walk in the woods. And, I put my phone on do not disturb. And I would say I was in there for about an hour or so. It took 20 minutes for me to give this to the trees, the forest fairies, the forest beings. And then I was able to focus on the future and my present moment and be with the spirit animals that came to me. And it took literally 20 minutes for the entirety of the attachment to that past life to be gone completely. So I wanted to give you that recommendation that, prescription medicine, to if something really gross is coming up, go candle gaze, go cry in the shower, go to the woods, go give it to nature, give it to the Mother Earth, give it to a being that is infinitely more well-versed and smarter and more mature than you are. You don't have to figure this out. You do not. And a lot of this is really, it's really changing up the way that I am going to be working with leaders and the way that I'm going to be offering information for my leaders, because it's not even just halvesies and halvesies anymore. And I know as a millennial, I speak to we halfway book learn and then halfway integrate it. But it took 20 minutes. And I was cleared of it. It was so pure and so beautiful. So we can be very, very efficient in our processes. And definitely my one-on-one sessions, channeling is coming in hot. It's just the people that are a vibrational match for my work are so excited to connect to their guides that it's me empowering you to listen to them. And then they are giving me tools. I'm having a full body chill as to like how they're going to start to communicate with you right away so that there's no fear. I think that makes sense. So this is, the new ways are going to be the only way. And that's how you're going to kind of see a little bit of a, I don't want like a split, a fork in the road, a fork in the road, if you will. And certain Boston words, they're just there, and I can't help it, and I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. It's just certain things. Like God's godly, it's never going away. Never going away. So the fork in the road, when you get to it, that's how you're going to see the difference between people that have the mental and emotional maturity and those that don't. So to someone, I might come off as like really naive, but it's just like absolutely not. Like I'm completely sober. I don't ingest sugar. I don't ingest alcohol. I don't ingest cannabis anymore. Like it's been a week and a half and I'm so clear. And so like this is sobriety. It's so beautiful and so wonderful. And so what you'll start to see is a lot of people are going to say, hey, I want that. I see what you have and you're so happy and jovial and so wonderful. And I want that, but I don't want to have to do the deep work and like try to grasp on or try to do things in their old way. And like, I'm trying to find a parable. I'm asking my guides for just like an image or a parable. They're showing me cars. So like someone who has like an old car that like loves his baby and takes care of it, and there's like a newer engine and he gives it all of the good things and all of the wonderful things, versus someone that just bought a junker, and it could be the exact same car, but it's like rusted inside and like all of these different things that like the roots are good, you like the bricks are good, but you have to spend a lot more time, emptying out all the gook and like cleaning the pipes and like giving it the nourishment and the nurturing that it needs. So that's the image that's coming to my mind right now. And that's what you'll start to see. I don't really want to say it's a divide because everyone has access to this energy, this information. It's whatever bit of the woo-woo, whether it's tarot, whether it's astrology, like whether it's channeling, whatever works for you, just integrate a little bit of it and you'll be so much more efficient in your processes. Yeah, the old ways are going to be like running straight into a brick wall. My guides are giving me a little bit of a somber reminder that a lot of people are still in the commiseration station, the commiseration party, where it's like, oh, can you believe that this is happening? Can you believe that this is happening? Can you believe that this is happening? And it's like the complaint department at all times, but it's like a lot of people are very happy there because they have community. And I also want to highlight that I've given this to a lot of clients and, soul workers and soul friends and community members that really have this language when they're like, I'm ready to talk to my spirit team. I'm ready to step into my most authentic self. I want you to rebrand loneliness. Because once you've been in the commiseration station and the commiseration party, and then you choose to come out of it, it's like when I quit smoking cigarettes, I just sit inside breathing my clean, fresh air, and I didn't get the tea and I didn't get to chat with everybody. It was in restaurants. So it's like when you go out for cigarette breaks, there's like a whole bunch of people. This was like 10, 11 years ago. But like you got the good stuff and you didn't have to do anything. You got to stand outside and just chit chat and have a good time. Whereas I'd be just sitting inside breathing my clean, fresh air and just like healing my lungs and be like, took it away. And also anyone who is like keen to quit smoking or to, that time of stepping away where you'd like go out for a butt break or something like that, still give yourself that time, but do something else. And I don't recommend scrolling anymore, but do like some scrolling or, get a straw and just do something that takes up that same time period, because a lot of it was just the step away from the daily da 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 da. And so that's just a lot happening all at once. Okay. I want to talk about Mercury because it's the chart ruler or it's the Mercury. Gemini is run by Mercury, and Mercury skadoo-doo-doots the entire month. So or the entire season, pardon me. So Mercury is at 6 degrees of Taurus when the sun on the 20th of May, Mercury is at 6 degrees of Taurus. And as I record this, it's the 16th. Mercury went into Taurus yesterday on the 15th. So I would love for everybody to kind of go back and see from the beginning of March until now, because it was that Mercury retrograde in Aries. What new skills have you learned about the way that you communicate? What new upgrades have you received? And a lot of you are kind of pushing away the term upgrades because you're thinking that maybe it's a little bit too woo-woo or that you're not in that capacity. There's literally nothing that I can do that if you're not interested in doing, you can't master yourself. Nothing. There's not a single thing. I'm here to empower you to be your most authentic self and to kind of remind you who you are. Yeah. You're a wizard, Harry. And I might do an entire video on my, fantasy addiction because it's my way to healthily, accept and disassociate to the realities of what we're experiencing in 2024. I don't think I need a whole video. I think that was just it. Where I went into the Marvel universe, and as beautiful and as wonderful as the Marvel universe was and is, it's like when you step back and look at the facts that I had to download, the Disney Plus, and that's gross. And then I had to look at actors that were just a lot of the time, a lot of people in this world are understanding a little bit of the God complex and the issues that we've kind of given this platform to people that maybe aren't as good as we think that they are and not as good as we wanted them to be, because when they invoke a character that's so pure, we think that that's them. Does that make sense? So I would deep dive. At first, it was Tolkien's world. I know this is a total aside, but I don't care. I'm going to timestamp it. Hopefully figure out how to timestamp. Actually, I might not even timestamp it, so you can just scooty-doo ahead if this isn't for you. But I think that this is important. People that are really into football, people that are really into the political game, people that are really into fantasy, this is for you. So first, it was Tolkien's world, where I was just watching the extended versions, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm still reading the entirety of the Lord of the Rings. I'm stuck on the middle to the last bit of Two Towers because I'm not a fan of Frodo's story in any capacity, so I might just skip ahead to Return of the King. I don't know. But then, after you've watched them so often that you're just obsessing, and then you go to the point where you watch the behind the scenes, and you get to know the actors and get to know this and you get to know that, and you're just you're in the club. You're all in the club. Why am I watching this? And then so I went over to the Marvel universe because superheroes are so pure. It's how I really help work with people that are very new to this language. How your favorite superhero shows a lot about how you're going to welcome in and accept interdimensionals, multidimensionals, the God of your understanding, showing you how galactic and how, precious and how important we are as the prophecy of human beings. And if there's ever anything that I say that you're can you explain that? Just timestamp it and comment it below and I'll deep dive into it. I'm happy to do that for you because I know I'm throwing a lot at you. But when it came to the Marvel universe, and a lot of it is also being comfortable with the violence of light and darkness and kind of accepting that in a way that felt safe for Sarah the Avatar, because it's pretty disturbing when you really float above the planet and you're this is what's happening? This is what's happening? Yeah, this is what's happening. So once I really did the same thing, I watched pretty much the entirety of the, MCU timeline, the chronological timeline, starting with Cap and going kind of all the way to Spider-Man. Once they get to the multiverse, I'm just I already live in that world. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that, or your version of it. And then I would watch a lot of the behind the scenes and stuff like that. And it was just so brazen. It was so as plain as the nose on my face how corrupt the whole system was. And it really not hardened my heart, but I had to take a day or two just to be wow, you had to go in there and to deep dive into that little, you had to go down this little cul-de-sac to come back around again to recognize that we're the superheroes. We can't idealize anyone anymore. We have to really invoke that understanding within ourselves. Yeah, this Pluto transit is just going to rip apart any sort of top-down authority. It's going to rip it apart. Like, anyone that you've said, you can do that and I can't. Yeah, for a moment in time. Give me one moment. I'm sorry, Whitney just popped in right over there. And so it's just like, for a moment in time, when you find someone that does something that maybe you're keen to do on your own, then you'll be a student of that person for a good while. And you'll watch what they have to offer you, and that you'll, invoke a lot of those light codes. Like I said, my voice and my eyes, they, unlock different codes within your DNA. I say that in the description of all my videos. And then when you have empowered yourself to do that work on your own, then you're fine. Then you can move along, and then you can go, and you don't have to, you can unsubscribe to that page, to that channel, and you can really take those teachings with expressions of gratitude and move forward. That's huge. But there's not going to be any more, you need me. There's not going to be any more, this is the only way. There's not going to be any more of that. And for a lot of people, they definitely will need community to be like, wow, this entire thing is corrupt. This whole thing is scripted. This is, every little bit of what I've put into this didn't matter and make sense. But then I feel as though in my bones, there's going to be such a cool resurgence of like football players that just want to play football and not be a part of that system. And they're just going to create a league of people that are playing football and let it be pure. Yeah. The prophesized time of peace is without question. So that's the world that I choose to view and create. And we know that when enough people view something together, it helps nourish and nurture it. So I know that was a lot, but I feel like it was necessary. So let's get back to Mercury, because Mercury, what did I say, is a scootin'. So Mercury is in Taurus at 6 degrees on the 20th. Right over here. Money, values, and access to resources. So yes, money is a resource. People are resources. Marco J. Williams spoke so eloquently about this, that, community will be and is the new currency right now. I have many clients that I do trade work with, and I get so much out of those sessions that it's like we fill each other up, and it's incredible, and that's wonderful. I learned so much, they learn so much, we receive, we give. It's so pure and so wonderful. And I think that he had said that like the ticker talker like took it down because it went against the community guidelines. I know. Definitely go check out his page. So on the 3rd of June, Mercury's going to go into Gemini. Loves being in Gemini. This is, ruling it. And then the 17th, we're going to have Mercury going in, the 17th of June, we are going to have Mercury going into Cancer, and it actually holds hands with Venus going into Cancer. So this is on the 17th, right over here. I might do an entire video on that. That's a really cool, see how it's like right at the base, the root of the tree of our life in the general wheel. Cultural family roots. This is deep, deep, deep cultural family roots over here. So I love that they hold hands and go in on the same day. That's beautiful. Yeah, June is a very exciting month. Very, very exciting month. The solstice, Pluto had started the retrograde season back on the 2nd of May, and we're going to have Saturn joining the party going retrograde. Oh, I can finally put Saturn up on the board. This is not until June 29th, so that will be, I just want to put it up on the board. So the same day that Saturn goes retrograde in Pisces at 19 degrees, we are going to have Lilith going into Libra on the 29th of June. This is way in advance. That's not even in, I'm sorry to say that. That's not even in this video. That's not even in Gemini season, but just kind of an exciting moment in time. This is why I've been so proud of the Libras. This is why. This is intense. We'll talk about that later on. Is there anything that is aspecting Chiron? I'm just going to put Chiron down. Chiron is at 21 degrees of Aries over here. Oh, I wish I wrote down when Mars is going to conjunct Chiron, but I didn't. I think it's going to be that week, the week of the 20th. I'm fairly certain it's going to be that week, but don't quote me on that. Well, because like Mars is conjuncting the North Node on the 18th, and then it's going to have to scoot down. So in that week, a lot of intensity happening. I just wanted to get everybody up on the board. I think that's it. Now, since Mercury is a scootin' over here, I'm just going to put Mercury over here in Gemini, just so you can see it. What I would recommend, like I've said, Gemini is the two brains. What I would recommend is to balance out both brains. Mercury, our informative planet, is going to be scooted through money, values, access to resources, communication, early learning, and short trips, and then ending right over here in home, my pocket of the world, and safety is key. Use the recommendations that I've given you. Like, be like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm going to the woods. And know that it's okay to say I'm overwhelmed. Be aware, because we know that we are consciousness running these human avatars. So if your human avatar is feeling feelings, you gotta stop, drop, and sink in. We can't do the same things that maybe we had to do when we were kiddos, where our parents said, hey, don't have a temper tantrum right now. Wait until we get home. Do it in the car. Don't express yourself right now. We can't do that to ourselves anymore. So you have to be able to be aware who's talking, what's going on, what's happening in my head. Is my inner child coming out? Is my inner teenager feeling poked at? What is going on right now? And utilize the tools that I'm giving you. Going for a walk, taking a long shower or a long bath, dancing, candle gazing, and utilizing some magic that is not air. What do you mean by that, Sarah? So Gemini, air energy. Water, fire, or earth energy. So baths, candle gazing, going into the woods. I would recommend that. Not air energy, because we're going to be very much in our heads. I want us sinking down into our hearts as often as possible, grounding every single day, doing as much as we can, because we are going to have information coming in hot. Definitely go watch my Jupiter in Gemini video. It's going to be expansive information. What did I say? What you focus on will expand no matter what. No matter what. And the full moon in Sag video, Nevite, like, don't be naive. Don't be misled. Don't be like, oh, little fancy thing over here. The parable that I gave was like, oh my God, there's this bus over there that says they're giving out candy and it's organic, sugar-free candy. He looks really nice. Yeah, I'm going to go in that van. I'm going to do that. Don't be misled. The systems are broken on both sides. We have to also, because this is, when we get to Cancer season, I'll speak more to this, which is like cultural family roots, because this axis is like mother and then father stuff over here. But right now, this is like siblings. This is the little stuff. This is, and I spoke about it in that video that I still have to post, but I'm going to reference it here. If you think that one side of the political party or one side of the whatever ideology is your savior, it's like, oh, my side is right and you're going to get the whole thing. There's some deep adolescent stuff tucked in there. There's some deep, real, gross adolescent mother-father issues coming out to the surface right now that we all have to be aware of our role in everything. Our role in, okay, I see that this is going on, I'm very triggered by it, being grateful for that trigger and saying, okay, this person is being, this soul is highlighting something within me that I myself have to heal. But it starts with us. It starts with you. It starts with me. And so none of this is easy. Truly, none of this is easy stuff, but like that walk that I took in the woods, it doesn't take as much time as we think. We just have to view it. We just have to say, okay, I'm strong enough to view this. I'm not going to avoid it. I'm not going to tuck it down. It's like ingesting, really, moldy food. It's going to come up or it's going to come down. One way or another, it's got to come out. That really gross thing inside of yourself, it has to come up or it has to come out. You can't live holding that in, because then it pops itself out like the mask, like the Jim Carrey mask. I just want to take some water. My guides are highlighting aromatherapy, just like the pause today was frankincense, and it's fading. I would love for us to really, which I know is air. I know. They're telling me sometimes you just got to go with what the season is telling you. We're going to be very air, they're saying, so use it instead of, not abuse it, but they're saying like use it. If we're in an air season, then really have a lot of healthy smells, healthy different things coming your way that just snap you out of whatever negativism, negative headspace that you're in. I don't remember what video it was. I think it was the Jupiter and Gemini. Just checking my notes. Where is that? Yes, I referenced these words, madness and psychosis. There's going to be possibly, maybe not in your realm, but you can see it in the periph, a lot of people losing it. And we must be there for them and not pity them and not judge them. But if it is safe to hold space, then do it. And I don't remember what video I offered this in, but the best way to support someone that is in your family, in your, arena, in your unit, in your team, whatever it may be, that you know is struggling and that is not at the place to be able to articulate that yet, whether they're, like definitely the Libra transit, the South Node in Libra transit, like choosing to stay in relationships that are not best for them, or choosing to, be in a very addictive space. A lot of addictions are really showing their negative sides right now, or people that are utilizing plant medicine and, transmuting it into, a daily drug use. And all you can do is be there for them. That's it. I'm going to be recording some guided meditations for, those that we worry about, and then those people that we want to cut ties to that we're not ready to have that conversation with yet. So stay tuned on that. But the best thing you can do for these people is just be like, hey, I love you. And if you ever need to talk, or you just need a friend to listen, like don't highlight what it is. Just say, hey, if you ever need someone to talk to or a friend, don't say like, I see you struggling, because that's a judgment. Don't say like, I see you doing these things. That's a judgment. Just be like, I'm here for you and I love you no matter what. Just want you to know that. Like send them love. If you feel comfortable and confident to say that in a human way, amazing, beautiful. If it's safe for both of you, do it. Just be there for them. Do it in meditation. I will have some guided meditations coming your way. So we'll do that, as soon as I can, as soon as my guides give me access to that. And, my upgrades and, my changeover of the guides has been so efficient. And like, they know that I'm like, do it. And they're like, we want you to, but we're still working on your throat chakra. We're still doing some things. So like, we want you to be there. We're just giving you the ideas so you can kind of prep and like tell your community ahead of time that it's coming. So expect that. Definitely, I'm going to offer as many tools that I possibly can. But there's a lot of communities that are changing. Like this house, the third house, runs our immediate, like our neighbors, like the people within our lives. Whereas, the ninth house is quest and adventure and long distance travel. This is your neighbors. This is your neighborhood. And like the little trips. We kind of want to like go visit museums and stuff in Gemini season. So definitely do that. Because once Cancer season comes, everybody's going home. Everybody's just going to like want to be a homebody and stuff. So they're reminding me the title of the video, Senior Year. So as we know, establishments are crumbling and falling to pieces. That was a lot to do with the Pluto transit. Definitely go check out my part 1 and part 2 videos, and then I'll do a part 3 when Pluto ingresses fully into Aquarius. That will be later this year in November of 2024. But where it's just like, yeah, you have an extended and sometimes, indefinite period of time in the place that you're in. But you know that, I sometimes say this at the restaurant where I'm like, and I have a love affair and a love-hate relationship and a, judgment of my own self. And, I've never started a business before, so I can't get mad at myself for being in service and for doing the things. I have an incredible, beautiful, wonderful job, and I get paid to process. And so I can't discredit the beauty of my restaurant job in any capacity, but anyone maybe who works in service that's here at my table, like, comment below. Do you still have I don't always want to do this, or, sometimes my feet hurt and, I'm 37 and it's not always easy to be on my feet all the time. And so sometimes when I'm having a bad day and I have to put that completely on the shelf, like, that can take its toll. So, and I know that that's true with anything, but the amount of times and for the amount of years that I'd be like, I'm treating this year and this summer is senior year at my restaurant job. But I've really given up on that in every way. I had to go through a dark night of the soul with it. And I've come out just being like, if God has put me somewhere on this planet, that's where I'm going to be. I'm not going to question it anymore. I'm not going to rush it anymore. When he opens a door, he opens a window and he says, Sarah, walk through, crawl through, I'm going to go. But right now, I have no timeline that I'm connected to. I have no timeline that I'm here on this island. I'm 5555 when I said that. And I have no desire to run from that anymore. Yep. I'm a humble child of God and I'm just here for the ride. And I'm just very much, this is my last human life. And have you ever been to Gloucester? It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet, that I've ever been to. It's incredible. It's lovely. It's wonderful. So come visit. It's summertime coming. So I'll see you soon. So I would like you to view whatever Gemini mental space that you're in as senior year and express gratitude for it. Yeah, it's not like I want you to check out, but I really want you to look at this season as some really incredible galactic things are coming and that are happening right now. And this is not just my language, so don't just take my word for it. Research every single thing that I talk about. Everything. Don't take my word for it. This is not doctrine. This is what works for me and my practice and my, team and flock and life. But do your own research with everything, especially in Gemini season, and get used to that. Get used to seeing something and fact checking it, especially around the full moon. 23rd. I think it's the 23rd for everybody. Just checking the dates, pardon me. Yep, 23rd. So get used to fact checking and checking in with your gut, your soul team, your tribe on every single thing that I say. And on the video that I have yet to post, and I apologize that I haven't, I gave a bit of a homework for you, which is after you watch anything, and I mean anything, put your phone down or look up and just ask yourself some exploratory questions. Like, how did that make me feel? What did I just learn? That's really cool. How am I going to integrate that? Is that something that I want to integrate? Have those tools so that if you're doing this, that might be a checkout. That might be a checkout. Where if you can't do that, if you can't stop after every bit of what it is that you watch and really have that check-in, maybe try to slow down a little bit. And this is work I'm integrating as well. It's really, really tough stuff. There's boredom on the outside of the awakening. Yeah, when everybody has infinite time and infinite money and nobody needs you and nobody needs anything and everybody is just there's peace and we get to rebuild in our own small community, there's going to be boredom there. Yeah. We've all been attached to the dopamine hit or the fear porn or all of these different things, myself included. I mean, I would leisurely fall asleep to Return of the King. The fights of Mordor. I was like, this feels so good in my soul. And now I'm 2 cups of coffee in one day. I don't know if my nervous system can handle that. Yeah, this is watered down espresso from this morning because I couldn't finish that double. Yeah. Yeah, 1 cup of coffee and maybe 1 cup of tea. And I don't finish either of them a day, and that's it. The sensitivities are off the chart, but that's just for me. So talked about it, I talked about it, I talked about it, I talked about it, I don't need to talk about it, I don't need to talk about it. On the 6th of June, I just want to leave you with this. There's going to be a new moon in Gemini at 16 degrees. That's by degree, not by minute, conjunct my natal Chiron. So anyone that's born, I'd say like 86 to 88, 89, definitely check your Chiron placement, because this is going to be a lot of like healing that wounded warrior, healing some wounds inside of yourself. So I'm just going to leave that there. There's a lot of other youngsters that have, transits that maybe be Uranus, that may be, but just because that's connected to like me as the millennial. So I'm just offering that for you. I'm listening to my guidance team. They really want you to face this world as if you're on safari and know that you're safe and loved and protected. Know that, Sarah's Protocol, the link is below for some, basic grounding and bubbling tools. It's free, completely free. They want you to really be excited about what's happening and try your best to find joy, creative expression, and gratitude every day as often as you can. There's a lot of, they're laughing at the term fear porn, but there's a lot of that right now. And that's something that when you come out of it, there is a bit of boredom where you're like, I've just been staring at this flower for like an hour and it is so beautiful and precious. And a lot of us as leaders and corporate survivors, we might be like, well, I have to do something. I have to create something. I have to do this. I have to do. You don't. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of solitaire. Not kidding. And I know that I normally reference the tarot cards in this video, but I talk about them in depth in the Jupiter and Gemini video. So the link to that is below. Definitely go check that out. Yeah, this is a really exciting time for us to put to bed a lot of the attachments that we had to our traumas, to our experiences, to who we used to be, all these different things. Because the real us, the real you is birthing. It's happening, behind your eyes. It's, without question, what it is that they really want you to focus on, like, what are you avoiding and what are you missing in a way that might not make sense to you? Like, if I don't create art, I'll speak from my statements. If I don't create art, they will like lower my tips so that I can't go out to restaurants and that I have to be home and process on my like making art. It's whatever is being like, it's like you're being directed in ways that might not fully make sense to you. Yeah, being creative in whatever way that means to you. And they've mentioned this before, like starting with listening to music or watching artists that you really appreciate. Being very aware of the ones that are in the club. Being very aware. They're highlighting the work of Bob Proctor. I've mentioned him numerous times. They're showing me Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson. So definitely have whatever you believe, doesn't matter. An independent journalist, an independent news source that is not attached to any sort of like thing that's holding them above. Doesn't matter what side or anything, just someone that's independent and looking at independent ways to really nurture and nourish yourself. And tuck some shelf-stable food away. Just do it for me. Just do it for me. You're going to have your local grocer. You're going to have all those local things. But like for myself, I love organic dried mangoes, and those come from another country. So I'm going to stock up on those. I'm just going to do it. It's not we'll be without food. It's just like a lot of shipping things might change. Not be without, but are going to change. And eat them like it's senior year. And it's like you go through that cafeteria line and your favorite cafeteria lady made those delicious little brownies, and you're like, I'm never going to eat these again. Because you're not going to go back to high school and go and eat the cafeteria food. You're going to enjoy it like it's ambrosia. I sometimes love how they wrap things up like that. So, what questions do you have for me? How can I best support you? Please comment below what you're going through. Please send me an email if you're not comfortable or confident to share this on YouTube. Please subscribe if you're interested. Please go check out my Patreon group. I have a free tier, I have a donation-based tier, and then I have the New Moon and Full Moon Workshop tier. So there's so many choices that you have over there. I love that platform and I love what it's growing into. My Instagram is listed below. I put a lot of my like singing and creative expression over there. If you're interested in me putting that on YouTube, please comment below and I'll try to share that over here a little bit more. That's all she wrote. Ciao, ciao.